What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. So the black 4Motion Bora is officially sold and off to its new owner, and now it is time to introduce another new project to the channel. You guessed it, it's another Bora, but this thing's a little bit different, and I'm quite excited to introduce to you the new project. Alright, so the story behind this car was, I was just looking at marketplaces in the state, found this Bora up for sale, and I could see that it had the side skirts and the rear lip. As I was flipping through the photos, on the last two pictures, it had the 3/4 bumper bar sitting in the dirt. Obviously the car has a black bumper bar on it now, so I obviously thought it was missing the front bumper bar altogether, but it turns out it was damaged, so they just removed it and replaced it with a black bumper bar from a parts car that he had. So I went ahead and messaged the guy who was advertising the car at the time, which was the owner's son. Been back and forth for a couple of weeks now, and I kind of just got a bit frustrated and said, look, give me Dad's number, I want to talk to him in person and get the deal done. Rang him up, within 5 minutes, already made the deal on the car, and then I just flew over to Melbourne, picked up the car and drove it back, 700 k's back. That's kind of where it all began. It's a 2002 V5 Bora with a kind of full Oettinger kit, so front bumper bar was a 3/4 bumper bar, side skirts and a rear lip. It also has a kind of a boot spoiler, but it's not, I don't think it's a genuine one. I think it's an eBay kind of special because it's too long for the actual boot itself. I'll show you that a little bit later. So yeah, V5 automatic. Now V5s in Australia, they always come with leather seats. This is got sports fabric seats, so apparently it's a dealer special from Queensland. They ordered it with a full kit, and then they wanted cloth interior and a automatic V5, so that's what I have right now. 240,000 k's in the clock. Kind of partial service history, but he's done majority of the work himself. He just never filled in the logbook as such. But yeah, it's a good all-round car. The plans for it really is to take the body kit off, because I want to keep the body kit, clean up the rest of the car as a kind of project for the channel, and then I'm going to go ahead and just sell it and hopefully recoup some of the funds that I've paid for the car, and obviously the flights and everything else I had to pay for to get the car. So let's start with the bad points. Passenger side rear tail light is faded and it's missing the Oettinger badge. The tint is very bubbly on the rear and passenger side. So chrome strip is missing. The bumper bar on the grille obviously don't match the rest of the car. Typical Mark IV wood grain trims falling apart. Sunroof drains are blocked, causing the interior fabric on the pillars to come apart due to the fact that these nipples have not been cut. More fabric come loose because of the sunroof drains leaking as well. And it's an automatic, so now for the good parts. We have a genuine Oettinger rear skirt. We have both genuine Oettinger side skirts. We have a genuine front grille and a genuine 3/4 front bumper bar, damaged and repaired, but it's still there. And onto the last thing, which is good for the car, well for me personally, the fabric seats. So V5s normally come in the leather, but this came with the fabric sport seats, which have been optioned from the dealer which ordered the car. And as you can see, are actually in really great condition with a bit of a spot clean. This should come out really well, and it would be a good selling point for the car. Now, I've already started working on this car, fixing bits and pieces. The first was the coolant leak, because I couldn't be driving around or in Adelaide with the coolant leaking everywhere and running the risk of damaging the engine. So I went ahead and investigated, and it turns out that the thermostat housing had disintegrated. So I had to replace that with a new O-ring, whole new thermostat housing, and clean it all up, and it hasn't leaked a single drop since. So that's one win for us, getting the car back on the road. Now time to start diving into it. The first thing we're going to do is remove this body kit. So we have the rear lip, side skirt and the front bar to do. So let's get cracking and get it done. So a bit of a wrestle, got the rear lip off. Probably easier with a screwdriver in the back and prying open the tabs and the holes in the actual bumper bar, and it allows the skirt to come out. Now that I've already done that part, I went and cleaned the new stock lip going on. I was going to do a full motion lip with the exhaust cut out, obviously because the exhaust is still on it. I was going to do a non-stock, a V5 rear lip and remove the exhaust, but I'm just going to go ahead and just put the full motion one back on. So let's chuck it back on and move to the other side skirt. Alright, so after a bit of wrestling, I didn't quite get the rear lip on there. Turns out the full motion lips and the front wheel drive lips are different. Obviously the exhaust cutout is one most noticeable difference, but it's actually the way it mounts as well. So underneath is actually hitting, so let me show you what I mean. It's actually hitting right there on the tow hook. And obviously this being a front wheel drive car and a full motion lip, they're not compatible. Because in the full motions, it doesn't have a tow hook, it has a thread for the hook to actually screw into instead of a welded in hook. So underneath is quite different, so I might have to chop that other full motion lip to fit this one. So I've just cut out this part here out of the whole lip. That's the only part that I could see was hitting, so I've taken a good chunk out. Let's see whether we can make it fit. Alright, and there it is. It fit up nicely. So had to cut out that small chunk there and had to use my favourite tool and just persuade some of the sheet metal underneath out the way. It's only minor, don't go stressing. It's not like I'm smashing the bottom of the car to pieces, but that lip went in there nice and perfect. Yes, the exhaust isn't sitting as much as I'd like. I bent the hanger as much as I could to make it fit, but that'll do. Now let's jump onto the front bumper bar. Now before we go ahead and fit the silver bumper bar, let's chuck on the 3/4 bar and let's see how it looks. 3, 2, 1, boom. Look at that. Minus the V5 on the grill, just disregard that for a second and just look down here. Holy heck. That just looks bloody mean compared to the stock bumper bar. Just imagine, all one colour and all repaired, all nice, and some pair of xenons. Holy heck, that thing will look beastly as. Now look to the side with the side skirt, the thing just looks beautiful. Now let's take that off, unfortunately, and let's put on the stock bumper bar from the parts car. And yes, I do have a second grille that will be hoarded like the rest of my goodies as well. some of you remember the spare grill I got from the black 4Motion Bora. Comes in handy, doesn't it? So that's probably literally the easiest side skirt ever to remove. I read it online before I did the job thinking it could be a pain in the ass, and everyone was saying how hard it was. It just pushed right off. The silicone was that dry, it just let loose. Have a look. So it's silicone all the way along, but it's dry as anything. So there's silicone there, little silicone there, and it has that rail that's attached all the way along too. So it's the rail that needs to be come off. So obviously that's where the skirt attaches to. But for the age of it, that's probably why it just came off so easily. So I can clean that up, take that strip off, and then happy days. Well, upon closer inspection, it's got pot rivets in there. So it wouldn't have came off with a heat gun and fishing wire, like I've read online, because the rivets. So now I'm going to have to go ahead and drill out all these rivets and get the rail off and go from there. So leave a comment down below. Have you ever had pop rivets on the rails to keep on your side skirts? I've never seen it before, but it's the first time me removing side skirts. Everything online just suggested there was silicone on. So yeah, leave a comment down below and let me know your experiences with this.
A few moments later.
So after half an hour of cleaning, it looks like this. So I had to cut the silicone away, and with the glue residue, bit of oomph, goo and stain remover, came up 100% a lot better than it used to do before. I'll show you the other side for comparison. There you go. So that's what I've got to deal with on the passenger side now. Same thing, cut the silicone away, and then with the glue residue you can use that oomph and totally get it removed, looking back to stock standard. Well, all I can say is lucky I wasn't recording while doing this, because it took me 2.5 hours to get the silicone off the passenger side only. I've had to use a scraper, oomph, like the driver's side, and even a camel wheel to try and get it off. And it was that hard and that stuck on there, it actually has removed the paint on some parts because it was just that old. Far out, what a pain in the ass. But we got there in the end. Let me show you what it looks like now. I'm actually quite happy with it so far. Making a bit of progress, which is good. So it is. And all down this passenger side here, you can see some of the paint is missing. And look, I'm not too fussed about it. It is just a like the rocker panel that can be painted at some point if someone wants to do that, but yeah, it's good enough for me. But looking at it now from what it was this time yesterday, so I got the all-in-one colour, 4Motion front lip with an actual silver bumper bar and silver grille. Driver side looks nice and clean as well. Like I said, now it just looks like a stock Bora Sport V5, and once I sell it, it'll make someone a great daily. And even down the back, yeah, the exhaust hangs out a little bit too low still, but I can't change that. I'll have to modify the hanger, and I really just, yeah, I don't want to be doing that, so that can stay as is. That passenger side tail light needs to be replaced as well. I do have, of course, spare parts, so I will replace that as well at some point. But yeah, like, for what it is, it's still a great car. But it's time to end the video. The next video I'll be attacking this monstrosity of tint. That has to go, because I'll be going through a ID inspection here in Adelaide, which means I'll have Adelaide registration on it, or South Australian registration, and get rid of the Victorian plates. Funny story, the missus got pulled over the other day driving this. It was a random breath test, then the question to her about the Victorian plates. So and that's on the system as this car needs to be transferred over to SA Reg, and it has got 14 days to do it. So I thought I've got a day off during this week, I can get it sorted, but the tint has to go. I want it to not stand out as much for the inspectors because there are a bunch of pricks down there and I don't want them snooping too deep into this and defecting me for something stupid. So it's an honest car, it's just the fact that they like to make life harder. So tint off next episode, so stay tuned for that. And then once it goes through inspection, there'll be an interior detail and an exterior detail too. So looking forward to getting that sorted, and then I can chuck it up for sale, sell it, and then move on with the actual projects that I had lined up before I bought this one. So in saying that, thanks again for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video so far, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.